Alright, welcome back to Pikmins. We're going to continue with the Pikmins. There is a new area for us to explore, but I want to come back here. Hopefully this isn't wasting my time. There are still more things to do in this world we call me. You. Awakening Wood. That seems pretty accurate for how I feel this morning. The plan here is we're going to do the obvious things. We're going to grab some Pikmin. We're going to walk around. We're going to see what we can do. We got some very basic plans we need to adhere to. We're looking to get yellow and blue Pikmin. However, from what I can tell, the yellow Pikmin the blue Pikmin seem to be hidden behind an electric fence, which would require what I presume to be yellow Pikmin. And then there are some things like this that need to be killed. Not that it's all that important, but just certain things we have to keep in mind. Like, for instance, sometimes there'll be bugs chomping on this, on these berries up here. So we want to harvest the berries when we can. If we see one of those fuckers, we want to kill it. Because what ends up happening is he'll eat the berries, and then he'll bury himself underground. And it'll prevent this berry from respawning until these guys are dead. The second thing we need to keep in mind of this happened in Pikmin 1, and I'm sure it's in Pikmin 2, is the little grub guys that exist near the water are designed to undo the bridges that we make. So if we leave the bridges unsupervised for too long, they will undo the bridges. And like in past Pikmin games, most of the good there is treasure on the top floor or this surface, but most of the good treasure is underground, so we are going to have to go to underground in order to get at said treasure. As to what's down there, I don't know. Like, for instance, you could be pretty sure there are going to be some variations of small to medium bulborbs. Some of the old bosses from Pikmin 1 may show up again. Not quite there yet, but I'm expecting them to show up again. We already ran into the female matriarch version. It was like the queen bulborb. I'm sure the male bulborb is around somewhere as well. I doubt they'll save him to the end of the game, though, because they'll probably have something more disgusting to throw at me at that point. Red something. The red liquid you see contains refined ultra spicy essence. One drop contains 1 dose. Nice. Press the down on the spray to extract on your entire party, or just walk up to it with Olimar / Louie and suck it up through a straw. I guess. However you want to look at that. He jarred it up, he sucked it up through a straw and spit it out. I don't know. It was, there's more to do here, clearly, in this pit. I missed something there. This is something I gotta use to get up higher. Great. Did a little bit of this in the last episode, I think, but the secret here is much like a scale, if you put 15 Pikmin on the left side, you have to put 16 on the other side for it to raise up, so I'm essentially I'm doing this in the wrong way right now. What I should do is I should toss all but like 1 or 2 Pikmin up top, and then use the 1 or 2 Pikmin to weigh me and Olimar down like that, so that he can then do this. Yep. So here's the back end of the no, there's dice up here. Nice. That's a treasure we can collect. There's the back end of the gate here as well that we can take down. Not that we're going to do it that way. There's another berry plant here. Looks like a different color though, for some reason. There's an electric fence, which means I'm going to need electric Pokemon. I mean, Pikmin. I'm going to occasionally call them Pokemon, just because I feel like it. Well, actually, because Pikmin and Pokem sort of similar, but not really. So there's some stuff we need to get done. Obviously, continue to collect the treasures. You know, the big one, of course, is we got to get a blue Pikmin. We got to get yellow Pikmin. Unfortunately, it looks like yellow Pikmin have to come before blue Pikmin because the blue Pikmin are again hidden behind an electric fence. There may be some treasures around here somewhere. There appears to be a thing up there that we can go get. That would be good if I could get... Well, actually, that is doable right now, believe it or not. I don't need any... Well, I probably will need the Pikmin later on, but I can use him to do this. So we're gonna get a cutscene for the blue Pikmin as if I've got yellow Pikmin and knock down the wall. Look there, wild blue Pikmin are chasing prey near the water's edge. Perhaps by observing these wild specimens, we can understand more about their true nature. Thanks, ship. Ding. I apologize. I was momentarily entranced by them. Now go back to work. Yeah. Don't you pay attention to non-work related things. You work until your eyeballs fall out. And then when your eyeballs fall out, then we'll get you new robotic eyeballs, but you're gonna have to pay for that using your insurance, which we're not going to cover. So it's gonna come out of your pocket. But if you want to keep making money, you're gonna have to get them robotic eyeballs. Thus says the corporate overlord. I was going to go into a little bit of a political rambling about health insurance, but I'm not going to do it. I refuse to do it this time. We're going to skip over that discussion and we will move on to something less interesting like, I don't know, Pikmin color. Do you like purple Pikmin? They seem to be kind of broken, particularly in attacking. They're also very broken in terms of the fact that they can carry... They're like bulky. They can carry stuff that's like 5 times their size. And I may have talked about this before. I picked up a book from a used bookstore. Apparently this book is as old as I am. I'm looking at the back cover here. It looks like it's copyright 1984. Of course, it's hard to tell when an 8 and a 9 is in these whenever they do the imprint. They try to do it in the smallest font they possibly can. Yeah, this was first printing November of 1984. Okay. Apparently this is the 50th anniversary of the official bartender's guide. Fair enough. There's a lot of stuff in this book that's interesting. Like, for instance, all the cocktail recipes. Obviously why I bought it. But there's a certain amount of bullshit also in this book. Like, for instance, you know, they talk about they do the introduction. They talk about the very basics of what you'll need for a bar. So you'll need, you know, obviously a can opener of some sort or a bottle opener. You know, obviously something, if you have wine, you're gonna need a screw. Yeah, this is the one item right here, the kiwi shoe polish, which I'm sure in the updated version they don't have the rights to use kiwi anymore, so it probably just says generic, you know, shoe polish. But there are a number of things that I can see like being important, and other things I see being completely unnecessary. In the grand scheme of this bartender's guide. Now, if you're gonna start a regular bar, like for a business, you can completely ignore what I'm talking about, because you're gonna be serving clientele, which is gonna want wine, beer, you know, depending on what kind of establishment you run, wine, beer, some mixed cocktails. Some people are gonna want straight up shots of whatever, gin, maybe not gin, vodka, rum, bourbon. You know, they're gonna want stuff that's straight up, okay? And some people are gonna want mixed drinks, depending on, again, what establishment you're running. And you're gonna have, depending on how deep you want to go, you're going to have a, you know, level of clientele. So, for instance, if you go to a place that is primarily a sandwich shop that also happens to have a little bit of alcohol, they're gonna have a couple beers on tap. Most of the stuff's gonna be in bottle. And then from there, you're going to have... By the way, I do not need to do what I'm about to do here. I do not need to fight this guy again. I choose to fight him because, well, in some ways I'm a little bit of an idiot. But in another, I kind of was hoping that by killing him, he'd give me lots of money, when in reality, he's only going to give me about 5 to 10 gold. Oh, he's also going to let me know that the white Pikmin here shows symptoms of poisoning after consuming the white Pikmin. Yes, because they have poison in their brains. Perhaps the white Pikmin experience a poisonous substance that makes them not only poisonous to enemies, but also immune to the poison that's spewing out of the ground for some unknown reason. So, sort of like what I'm trying to say about this book here is I keep going back and forth between the game and the book. Is that, this is very much, I guess, designed for an actual bartender as a reference guide, I suppose. I'm sure there are others, maybe something a little bit more updated, since this was published in '84, which would make it about 40 years old at the time of this recording. Let's see. January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, so it's about 40 and a half years old, because it was published in November, and I'm releasing this recording in May. So make it, like I said, 40 and a half years old. But again, it does a very good job if you're looking to set up the most complicated bar ever. You will have, you know, your corkscrews to get the bottles of corks out of the bottle of your wine. You're gonna have a beer, you know, a bottle opener that pops open the top of the bottle of your beer bottles. You're gonna have your stirring, you know, your stirring spoon that's long. They can get down into a tall glass. They call it a highball in a lot of cases. And then from there you also have, you know, a strainer of some sort. Typically a wire strainer, a shaker, some tools that I think are a little unnecessary would be, they include a small sharp paring knife for cutting fruit, for shearing off rind. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, you're going to need a knife of some sort if you're going to cut a lemon slice, or but it doesn't necessarily have to be this specific knife that I'm looking at that has a double prong tip to it. So I suppose it was fashionable in the day. And then of course you're gonna have to have your, I agree, you're gonna have to have your measuring stuff, whether it be a jigger, of course, is great because it gives you a 1/2 and a 1/4 ounce. My jigger actually does a 1/2 ounce and, is it a 1/2 ounce? I think it is a 1/2 ounce, now that I think about it. Never mind. You know what I'm saying. My jigger does do a 1/2 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. And then usually you have measuring spoons are good. A fruit extractor is kind of important, but it's sort of undone. Large pitcher. I mean, if you're gonna make margarita mix, or you're gonna make sangria or something, I guess you could understand having a pitcher of that. But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what season it is to do that, because I mean, is everybody going to want a Bloody Mary every night? No. Is there a time and place for a Bloody Mary? Yes. But what kills me about this is in this guide they list 19 types of glasses, okay? To which some of these I feel like are redundant, okay? And some of them are not even included, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, one of the key items they don't mention here is, of course, your beer mug. Like a beer stein, you know, glass with a handle on it, you know, something like that. But they'll include, you know, the beer mug, which I don't know anyone who uses a beer mug anymore. It's sort of like tall coffee cup shaped item, which I suppose you use it, but a lot of people just drink out of a highball glass, or a Collins. You know, highball and Collins look almost identical to each other, other than that the Collins has a deeper bottom to it in case you needed to get in there and grind, you know, mince some, you know, like I'm thinking of a mint julep right now off the top of my head, but like get in there with the pummel and grind some shit down in there. I'll just read these off to you. Here's the Delmonico, which kind of looks like a slightly different version of the old-fashioned or lowball glass. You have a Collins, which, like I said, has a deeper, thicker bottom to it. You have a whiskey glass, which, what does that mean? It's, you know, I mean, a lot of whiskey glasses nowadays, you know, in the 2020s, are more like a low ball with, you know, a little bit of ice, heavy ice in it. Then, you know, you have your highball, which is your very thin-bottomed, tall glass that you would drink pretty much anything out of. 6 is a beer mug, which, yeah, I get the beer mug, but I'd have to show you a picture of this fucking thing. You have a beer pilsner, which is a vaulted glass that starts very thin at the bottom and just goes straight up. The Irish coffee cup, which I don't know how many Irish coffees you're going to be serving. The Poussey Café, again, not sure what that's for. The Parfait glass. The Flip. Okay, great. And so those 3 I don't understand. Those 4 I don't understand. Maybe I'm just... what's the word that they like to use? Uncultured swine. Then you have the red wine and the white wine glass. So red wine tends to be more of a bowl-like glass on a stem, whereas your white wine tends to be more of a, well, I guess you would consider it a stemmed glass, where it kind of looks like a tulip bulb. Hard to explain. And then the one after that that's listed as a sherry glass. The sherry glass is kind of like the white wine glass, but the stem is longer, and it flutes less than the white wine glass. They seem too similar to me to not be the same glass. And I don't know, I mean, unless you're a Puritan, I imagine if someone poured a red wine in a white wine glass, you wouldn't probably bat an eye. Then you have the fluted champagne glass, which I agree with. It's the taller, thinner glass that allows bubbles to, you know, more adequately bubble up from the bottom. And then you have your brandy sniffer, your cocktail glass, your whiskey sour, and your pony. Some of these I don't get. Anywho, I've wasted too much of your time. So we're going to cut the episode here in a second. And when we return, we are going to hopefully try to hunt down some Pikmin, another color Pikmin, but I think we're about an episode away from that still, as we've got another cave we need to dive into. But we'll see. In the meantime, I wish you all a happy... Olimar, terrible news! I thought happy Holocaust loans savings, but my loan came from the shop next door. The all-devouring black hole loan sharks. Whoopsie! You're an idiot.